I talk to so many would-be entrepreneurs who want more money, want more time, more freedom, and they like this concept of living a rich life, but when you get down to it, they're actually not sure what that looks like or what that means. And here's the challenge. If we don't get very, very clear on what we want our lives to look like, then we're likely to burn out on this entrepreneurial journey. And then we end up not only not helping ourselves, but not serving the people that we start out wanting to help. So in this video, we're going to talk about the concept of life design, what it is, what it isn't, and the components that you need to be aware of so that you can actually reach your goal and live this rich life that we talk about on this channel. So if having more meaning in your life, being able to connect to a deeper mission, and having more money to do all of that are important to you, you're going to want to stick around, click that like button, because here we go. Hi, and welcome back to Rich Social Worker. I'm Eva Ford, social worker, mindset mentor, and coach. And on this channel, we talk all about money, mindset, and motivation to help you live your richest life. So if those topics are important to you and you want to learn more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video, which is every week. Now, today we're actually talking about the mechanics of living a rich life, because if you're a person who wants to start a business because you want to have more freedom, more time, more flexibility, and you know that you can help even more people, then this concept of life design is something that is going to be very important to you. And it's a concept that I first heard when I read the book 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And in the book, he outlines what he calls the New Deal. And that is the formula or format of how the new rich live. And life design is essentially the intentional process of planning how your life works. It includes the type of work that you do, the amount of money that you earn, the people that you have in your life, and how you spend your days. And so when we don't intentionally plan our lives, then we run the risk of just kind of going through the motions and being unconscious in our delivery and in our experience of life. And oftentimes, being unconscious in our actions is actually what leads to burnout and disillusionment and feeling taken advantage of. So this is a really important concept to consider. Otherwise, we run the risk of not being the best version of ourselves. Now, Tim Ferriss suggests that it comes down to 4 components, and he calls it the New Deal. D is for defining what you want. What do you want out of this life? What do you want out of your work? And what is it going to take for you to get there? E is for eliminating distractions to free up your time. And when you're working on a dream or a goal and you're designing your life intentionally, you need all the time that you can get to focus on you and your thing. There's a learning curve, there's a growing curve. There are all kinds of factors that you might not even recognize that you need to be aware of. And so you need to eliminate and say no to a lot more things that maybe you're saying no to right now. Eliminate those distractions in your life that would otherwise take up that time that you need to design your rich life. A stands for automate, and he suggests that in any area of your life that you can automate, you're going to do that. You're going to automate email responses. You're going to automate things like subscriptions. You're going to automate things in your life that can be automated, and you're also going to delegate and create systems. So again, you have more time to work on the things that relate to your rich life. And finally, the L stands for liberate. And what Tim Ferriss suggests is that liberate means you're going to liberate yourself from the expectations of society and the expectations of what you think you're supposed to be doing at a certain time. And so when you define, eliminate, automate, and liberate, then Tim Ferriss says you will have the components of creating this life design. But there are some things that you still will need to consider when you're creating this life design. So we're going to talk about them right now. Now, you may notice, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, that not all of my videos are shot in the same location. Some of them have been shot in Jamaica. Some of them have been shot in different parts of the United States. And that's because I was very clear when I started this process of intentional life design that I wanted to be location independent. And that's just the concept of not being tied to one location. So it's hard sometimes when you're working a 9 to 5 to be location independent. Most 9 to 5 jobs, you've got to go in, kind of clock in, and then you clock out. But I was very clear that I wanted to travel and I wanted to connect with different people and I wanted to find inspiration in different places. And so I was very intentional when I started to think about the type of work that I wanted to do. And I used my desire to be location independent and not sit in an office and not have a 9 to 5 and have to check in. I used that as kind of a roadmap to get me clear on how I wanted to design my life. And so many years ago, I started working online and doing much of my coaching and consulting online, which brings us to component number 2 of being intentional about life design. Because when I started really designing my life intentionally, I didn't have little ones at home. I didn't have a partner that was dependent on me. And so I had a little bit more freedom and flexibility to think about what I wanted my life to look like in the immediate future, as opposed to, I know some of you may be watching this channel. So that's another component that you may need to think about. Do you have dependents? Do you have responsibilities? Are there people or things or projects that are dependent on you right now? So this is not to say that you can't design your life. It just may mean that you may need to be a little bit more strategic for now in the short term about how you get to where you want to be in the future. Now, a third component that you'll need to consider is how much money you want to make. And I suggest looking at it from the perspective initially of how much money it will cost you to be able to live the life that you want to. And again, Tim Ferriss has a really great resource in the 4-Hour Workweek called the Dreamline Worksheet. And it asks you to kind of put down all of those things that you say you want in your ideal life or in your ideal day or that you would like to do. And then it challenges you to put a financial cost to each one of those things. So if this is an exercise that you have not done yet, I challenge you to do it. And that is, again, to write down all of the things that you want to do in your perceived ideal life. As you're designing your life, put a dollar figure to it, and then look at what it would take for you to make that dollar amount. One of the things that people who intentionally design their lives usually have is an automated source of income. So money is coming in whether they're working or not. And here's the thing, it's not necessarily all of the money that's coming in. So they may still have a job, or they may consult, or they may earn money in another way, but they also earn money in a way that is not necessarily dependent on them and their time. Because listen, there are only so many hours in a day, and you are only one person, and you've got to sleep, right? You've got to eat, and you've got to do other things that take up your time in the day. And so there's a cap to the amount of money that you can make with your effort alone. And so it's to your benefit to consider other ways that you can make money and bring in money on autopilot so that it can help to finance your intentionally designed life so that you can live the way that you want to. And it's not just a dream or a fantasy or something that only other people get to do, but something that you get to do as well. Now, the last thing that I would suggest that you consider in your intentional life design are the experiences that you want to have. And I don't just mean experiences like to go to a conference or to go to a concert, but I mean, do you want to have a chef? Do you want to have a housekeeper? Do you want to work 6 months out of the year and then vacation another 6 months out of the year? Do you want to travel? Do you want to maybe adopt lots of kids? But I want you to think about the experiences. What do you want to eat on a daily basis? Where do you want to What are the things that you want to see? What are the relationships that you want to cultivate? And so these are things that you need to consider when you're thinking about intentionally designing your life. And if this is a new concept to you, I understand it can be overwhelming, but I really want to challenge you to kind of sit down and just dream. Dream about if you could wake up and your life was just working the way that you imagined, or you could dream that it would be. What would you be doing for income? How would you be spending your days? Who would be in your space? What would you be eating? Would you be working out and exercising? Would you be working on a plan with a team? I want you to include all of those things, because all of those things are important to have in your mind first before you can actually have them in your life. And here's the thing, it's totally doable. It's absolutely possible. And people are doing it every day, and you can do it too. But it means, again, that you've got to actually stop, be conscious of what's going on for you right now, and do that initial work of dreaming and kind of mapping out what you want your life to look like. Now, if you want to speed up this process of life design and actually step into the life sooner than later, then I recommend that you get a coach. Now, there are many different types of coaches. There's a health coach, there are parenting coaches, there are life coaches, there are business coaches. And so again, it first starts with you thinking about the life that you want, and then identifying which one of those, or maybe you need more than one of those types of coaches to help you along the way. Now, one of the best ways to intentionally design your life so that you have the freedom and the flexibility to live it in the way that you want is to start an online business. So if starting an online business is something that you aspire to, hit me up. I offer free 15-minute coaching calls to help you get clear on what your next steps can be. I would love to be a part of your growth process. Guys, thanks so much for being here. I believe you can dream, be, do, or have anything you want, but it starts with your mindset. So make sure it's a rich one. I'll see you in the next video.